All right. Do you want me to lead her in?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be on your channel. Right?
True, yeah, that's valid. Hello, I looked at the microphone.
Hi!
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
How's it going? Hello, everyone. My name is Justin Bellman. This is James DeRosa.
Howdy, y'all.
We used to have a show called Capes the Roundtable where we would throw some superhero news and stuff at you, but we thought that we would do a little bit of a reunion to bring you our formal review of Shazam.
You should edit Zachary Levi over.
Not even like a Shazam picture, just as normal Zachary
Levi.
Levi.
Yes, yeah. Justin was kind enough to help me get out here for C2E2 this weekend, which was awesome. We just happened to stumble upon advanced screenings for Shazam and checked it out after spending most of the day at the convention, which was awesome. I mean, if you were fans of the old show, then you might know. I've always been partial to Marvel for the most part, and
typically I'm partial to DC.
Yeah, so
it's kind of it's our dynamic. You know? It's what we bring to the table.
It's the shtick.
But yeah, so I think we can just kind of jump into it.
Yeah.
Right? Let's hit you. We're gonna do some non-spoiler thoughts, so don't worry. This is not purely a spoiler review. If you are planning on seeing Shazam anytime soon and you want like a pretty comprehensive idea of what we think about it before you go into it, you can get that here, and then we will let you know when the spoiler talk's gonna start. Just give our general non-spoilery thoughts if you want to kick it off.
Being, partial to the MCU and Marvel and all that, the only DCEU film that I haven't seen, I believe, is Aquaman. So that being said, going into this, didn't really know what to expect, and I was looking forward to it. It looked, just by the trailers, like it was going to be probably one of the most entertaining ones so far for the DC film universe, but yeah, I guess just point blank, I was thoroughly entertained. I felt like I got a movie that made me feel the same way that Marvel films generally make me feel when I leave the theater. Like, almost every single Marvel film, good or bad, except for maybe like Thor: The Dark World, I was just like, that was a lot of dark, a lot of elves. Almost every Marvel film, I leave the theater and I'm like, wow, that was, despite any ups or downs, I was thoroughly satisfied with that film.
Right. And
I rarely felt that way with... I mean, I really, really liked Man of Steel when it first came out, and then years later they did the BVS, and then, I don't know, all of that, and then Justice League. Wonder Woman was great, but all of those films, like, I left the theater feeling like, felt like there was something missing, or like that it was confused about what the overall package was trying to be.
Right.
And despite what I think, without saying anything more, what elements this movie borrowed from films that have come out in more recent years, in terms of its tone and sort of overall package, dynamic, it was great. I was thoroughly entertained. I left the theater and was like, that was a good ass movie.
Bouncing off of that, I 100% agree. I think that, like, unfortunately, as a DC fan, I feel like at least like their last couple projects especially have been lacking. I was not. This might be a controversial opinion, but I was not huge on Aquaman. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I've ranted about how much I did not like Aquaman. A story for another day.
Yeah, another tale.
With Shazam, it was like kind of what you were saying. Like, I got the same experience that I get coming out of a Marvel movie, but it didn't. I was so happy that it didn't just feel like a Marvel movie. You know what I mean? Like, I was worried about that. Like, when I saw the trailers, I was worried that like it was going to be kind of like cut and paste from what Marvel does, just from the tone of the trailers. But it really was like, this was the first time that I saw DC explore some of like the cool weird stuff, like the magic stuff, but doing it in a way where they're not trying to justify it, like they're not trying to like make up for it. It's unapologetically comic booky, but it feels DC.
Yeah, and it's still got its own brand on it.
Like,
it's got that DC
and like
feel.
you have to be unapologetic when you're dealing with like wizards and magic and all that stuff. Like you can't be like, oh well, actually this wizardry was ancient science from
aliens.
It's like
another dimension.
It doesn't need to be that, and this movie proves it. This movie proves that you can make a solid story while being true to the character and not having to do what DC's been doing and doing like their dark, gritty, like based in realism interpretations. As much as like that is for some people, for someone who loves the comics, like I've been waiting for something like this. I've been waiting for something to be like, we're not apologizing for being DC Comics, and that was this. It didn't feel like it was hung up by the previous movies. It didn't feel like it directly contradicted them either.
No, it did a good job of kind of being in its own world. As you may or may have not seen in trailers, there are slight references and Easter eggs. Some of them more overt, obviously.
Yeah, so like the larger DCEU.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Like, it still feels like on its own. Like, it's not.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what like a DC solo movie should look like, and I feel like
agreed.
After seeing Aquaman, which is, in my opinion, very apologetically Aquaman, like it's very like, sorry, we're Aquaman, so we're gonna change most things about Aquaman so that you like it. It's like, Aquaman's a dope character, and you can do things with it. We're not here to talk about that. I need to shut up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Shazam is a very cheesy character. It's very silly.
They leaned into it, but not...
and like it's very family friendly, very fun. Like it's one of the things that I will praise this movie for over any other DC movie is its pacing. I think that the pacing of this movie is...
We were saying that when we were walking out.
Yeah, we were like, it was just like they take enough time to give you these fantastic character moments, some of which we'll get into.
Yeah.
Like, I was worried because the pacing is so good in the first half that, like, by the second half I was like, fuck, they're gonna rush it, they're gonna ruin the third act. I was like, it's gonna be Wonder Woman all over again, where I really like the first 2 acts and then there's a big stupid CGI fight.
Right.
But like, they just handle it so well. I was nervous for the whole second half of this movie, but I didn't need to be.
Yeah.
And like, I can comfortably say that, like, I'm probably gonna go see this movie again in theaters.
I would see it again too, yeah.
And I think that when I do see it again, I'm gonna be very relaxed, and I'm gonna like not be worrying if it's gonna be a good movie or not. I'm just gonna be able to like enjoy all the cool shit that happens.
Right.
But yeah, if you're worried about it being like feeling like it's out of place, it doesn't. If you're worried about it feeling too much like a Marvel movie, don't worry, it's just a good movie. And if you're worried about it feeling too much like a DCEU like gritty realistic film, it's not that either. It is entirely its own thing. It's new, it's fresh, it's exciting, and it's good.
Yeah. Also, not even myself knowing all that much about the character from the comics, like, it was still the little bit that I did know, I was able to go in and enjoy it very thoroughly.
Yeah.
I think Zachary Levi did a fantastic job. I think the actors who played Billy and Freddy, I love them. I mean, really,
they definitely shine.
All of the Shazamly. I mean, is that spoilery? Did we get in on the?
No, I mean, like, we'll get into it more, but
all of the supporting cast. Was
everyone is solid. Like
like
there are really no weak links, which is a fantastic thing to be able to say.
Yeah,
I think that's a good place to kind of cut it. If you're excited, and we could help you be more excited, great. If you weren't excited, hopefully this pumped you up a little bit. Because don't sleep on this movie.
Yeah,
it's damn good.
No, it's gonna be big. I know people. It's gonna be successful, I think.
Absolutely. But yeah, okay. So now this is your first, final, and only spoiler warning. Spoilers. This is where spoilers happen. Spoiler. If you want to go see this movie, I recommend you go see it first. The level of expectation and the level of what you've seen so far in trailers and everything right now is perfect to go into this movie with what you already know. But if you're someone who doesn't care about spoilers, isn't planning on seeing this movie, or has already seen it, feel free to continue.
Yeah, hang out with us.
Just hang out. Just chill. Just want hot chocolate?
Sit back.
Do you want a hot chocolate? Here.
I got water.
Do you want a hot chocolate? So let's get into spoilers. Yes?
Yes.
How were Zachary Levi and Asher Angel as Billy Batson?
I think they were great. Asher Angel's super talented. I mean, I thought he did a really fantastic job, like, from the beginning of the film to the end. Like, you can...
The character
development's really good, and it's... at no point did I feel like, wow, this is like, he's really phoning it in, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
He was killing it.
He was all in.
And Zach Levi, you know, I used to love Chuck. He did a great job, I think, conveying the exuberance but also the confusion and all of that of what a 14-year-old kid who also a 14-year-old kid who had a history like Billy Batson. He did a great job of embodying that, as you know, as if I imagine that scenario, that person gets superpowers. Like, obviously, you know, they both delivered very well, I think, on two halves of that character.
One thing that I was worried about, just from like a filmmaking perspective, this movie seems like it would be a disaster on set. Like, to produce, and like the way that they do it so flawlessly is amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's like when you have, or not to produce, to direct, because you have two actors who are going to be making different decisions. Like, that's just how acting works.
Yeah.
Like, they want to influence the role in their own way, whatever. But like these two, like, seamlessly, you feel like it's the same character.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point where like it's like, okay, well, this is clearly like Zachary Levi going off and doing his own thing. Like, this is clearly Asher Angel like making his own decision on what he wants to do at this part. They clearly communicated and worked together throughout the entire production to like make sure that they were like agreeing on choices for the direction of the character.
Yeah.
David Sandberg, the director, clearly made sure that that was like a very important part of the character.
Yeah.
I told you this like right after we got out of the theater. I was nervous because the first time we see Shazam, like the first time that he turns into Shazam, like you see Zachary Levi and he's a lot more like I'll steal your word, exuberant. He's a lot more like energetic and like whatever than we've ever seen Billy in the movie up until that point. So I was nervous about it because I was like, uh-oh, are they gonna like do this thing where like he's always kind of like sad and stoic when he's Billy, but then when he's Shazam, he's always competent.
Right.
But the way that they turn him into like this bully character, and, like he just like gets so of himself, but they don't like punch you in the face with it like Amazing Spider-Man 1 does.
Right. It's
like,
not
he's
like,
just I'm slam dunking on bullies. Like he's just like he slowly gets to his
and, like,
head.
beating up thugs for no reason. Like,
he takes a very like 14-year-old's approach on it, which is just like I could definitely make some money off of this.
Right. Yeah.
And like I could definitely do things that adults do.
Right.
And like it's so well done. And the fact that like
purchase some of your finest beer.
Again, it's a testament to the pacing because it's like that scene where they find out that he's bulletproof in the convenience store, and the time that they take to be like, oh wait, is it just your suit or is it your skin? Like answering these questions.
And
they're like, shoot him in the face, and he's like, yeah, shoot me in the face. Wait, what? And then they start shooting him in the face, and it's like, it's
so funny.
That's such a well played, like, and laid out and planned scene. Like everything is so meticulous and so well done.
Freddy and Billy, and then like Freddy and Shazam. The dynamic there is so good. Like,
and I was worried that Freddy was gonna kind of overshadow Billy's character, but they just play off each other.
No, they play off each other very well. Yeah, I mean the two of them, the dynamic there was really good between Billy and Freddy. It was very entertaining to see them play off one another. Like you said, you did a good job of it.
Yeah. How about the supporting cast?
Fantastic. Like you said, no weak links. The rest of the, his Shazamily, the parents, and the rest of the other
I was worried about the parents.
Group home kids. Yeah, no, I think they all did a great job. Like,
they all hit like emotional beats, and everyone had their place, and none of it felt forced, and it didn't feel like shoehorned in.
Exactly. Even at the end,
I was gonna say let's get into it because I mean it's spoiler time.
Yeah,
it's spoiler time, gang.
You've been warned. Wow, these people were like definitely hired just because they're like huge, most of them, and then maybe some of them had suits. But, like, they still did a great job. Like, I thought, you know what I mean? Whatever. And not that there needs to be any sort of mutually exclusive thing there. Obviously, The Rock's a pretty good actor, and he's huge. But, no. Like, I don't know. I was... Yeah, the fact that they pulled that off and that the actors playing them did such a good job of just not, like, pulling you out of it at all. Like, it still felt like those kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had powers.
And I like how they each have, like, a strength for each of their powers. Like, Darla was, like, the fast one, and Pedro was, like, the strong one. And, like, it was really cool. And, like... Freddy was like the flying one. Like, it was like they each had like a bit of it.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even realize that. They supporting cast fantastic. Like you said, I mean, I was a little, and even his like mom, like I thought she did a really good job
yeah,
too.
let's talk about her.
Holy shit! That whole storyline really did a really great job.
Yeah, because like in the beginning you
empathize with him and
like in the beginning they show the scene filmed in a different way. Like it's like it's from his perspective and like how he remembers it.
Yeah.
And how like his mom was like, oh, like when she's throwing darts and they're at a carnival and she's like, well, I'm not gonna go pro anytime soon. And like,
but instead she's like,
at the end she's like, I'm not gonna fucking like.
She's like, mommy's not going pro anytime soon or something. Yeah. Like she says it. Like you can tell she's much more dejected after knowing that Eugene does a little searching. They find out and they tell Billy what happened with his mom, and just knowing that, and then seeing that scene again, shot in that slightly different way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So well done.
Wow. That was real, and it was like again the pacing, like it brought you the time taken to make that scene work, but then pretty much immediately because you know that there's like other deep shit going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously that moment was also kind of his crux, like his point where he was like, all right, I had these.
Well, because that was like the thing that he was hung up on, and like that was the thing that like looking for his mom was the thing that like is stopping him from like confirming that this is his family.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And like when he says like at the end he's like, sorry, I was just making sure you're all right. I got to go back to my real family.
Right.
And then like when he turns into Shazam at the building, like when he jumps off the building, I was like,
like it made that moment, which I had seen in trailers.
Yeah.
It made that moment even fucking cooler.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a good job.
It was like a mini version of Miles' scene in Spider-Verse, like the What's Up Danger scene. Like it's just like that should be how that feels. Like when a superhero suits up proper for like the first big time. Like that's how that should feel.
Yeah.
And like it's definitely like you feel that transformation. Like he's not just Billy anymore.
Right.
Like he is Shazam now. And like that was like. Fuck. The fact that he lets that go and accepts these people into his family makes the rest of that third act of that movie so much more powerful.
So cool.
Like when all of them get the power or whatever, it's just like... So good.
So good.
So, it's so good. If you can't tell, we like the movie.
They did such a good job.
How about them villains, though?
Mark Strong, I think, might be the strongest villain in the DCEU.
I would put him up there with Zod. I think Zod was damn good.
Zod was damn good, too. I mean,
but-
what's his name? What's that actor's name?
Michael Corbett Shannon.
Michael Shannon.
According to Wikipedia.
Yeah, Michael Shannon as Zod was great, but, like, obviously he was the bad guy. Obviously he was a douchebag.
Yeah.
But, like, you saw where he came from as a kid. When he throws Sid out the fucking window.
Fuck, dude. I did not see that coming at all.
That whole scene was, I
thought he was just gonna, like, pin him against the wall or something, but then he picks him up and shuts him out the window.
That was satisfying as hell, honestly. That he didn't just slam him against the wall. Like, I feel like that's, like...
Yeah, very,
I don't know, like that.
Agreed, very satisfying to be
Yeah,
like, oh, a villain did something bad.
Right, a villain did something that he would do. Like, you
Yeah.
know, he felt actually scary.
Yeah.
And also, the connection to the protagonist was perfect.
Yeah,
for
I love
opening.
the idea that he was like the failed Shazam.
Yeah.
Like that he was supposed to have this power. In the whole movie, he's hungry for this power.
Yeah.
And once he finally unlocks the secret to it,
He still
it's not
chooses the
like
wrong.
yeah, he still chooses to like he still proves that he's not worthy of the power. Like he
Mm-hmm.
still proves that he's not pure of heart. Can we talk a little bit about the seven deadly sins?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
their design was really fucking
Oh yeah,
cool.
the character design for them was fantastic. I feel like I've definitely seen that sort of style of gluttony before. I don't know. I feel like I've seen one for greed where it has multiple arms and hands and stuff like that.
But it's very like traditional. It's very
Yeah,
like
it's very-
like Greek mythology.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I
it's-
think and like also, but also like terrifying modern super villain like you
Yeah.
know, monsters. Like they, I think they did a great job with all of them, and the fact that the last one was envy and that he got it to come out of him and was
Oh
like,
yeah, by like literally making him envious
Yeah.
of the other people who are like able to come out and fight. Like
Right.
that's fucking the way he draws them out.
Yeah.
Is so smart and so amazing and
Yeah.
something that Billy would come up with. Like I believed that. I
Right.
wasn't just like, oh okay, the superhero found the solution. Like it was
Right.
just like it made sense.
Yeah. The fact that he didn't die after Savannah didn't die after the last one came out of him and he fell to the top and then was like he fell a decent amount.
They caught him. He caught him.
Yeah, but he fell even like just from where he fell to the rooftop.
Oh, like it was. I mean,
Yeah,
it
like
was
that
only
was-
like 10 feet. Like it wasn't like he could have like broken an arm, but I don't think he would have died from that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, I was a little confused about. So he has both normal eyes now in the cell at the end there.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like, they
Dude,
don't
can
really
we talk
go into it,
about the
but
cell, that post-credit scene?
we could just let's just dish
I will
out the post-credit
yeah,
scenes
more
now.
spoiler warning. You already got a couple.
Yeah, so let's talk about the
there's
post-credit
two,
scenes
There's
real
two
quick.
post-credit scenes. There's the mid-credit and the post-credit scene. The mid-credit scene is Savannah in a cell going, oh, and trying to somehow access the power again. And he's just, you know, his little, I don't even know what the fuck he's using, charcoal, I don't know what the hell, breaks and he yells and starts slamming on the wall. And then he hears a voice saying something about like, oh, you monkeys, you think that you can only get
think you
magic from
understand power and magic and-
from
yeah.
sticks or from words or something. Like he starts roasting him basically for being a human and not knowing how to use magic. You know, he's like, what the hell, like who, where? I don't even know if he says anything or he just like is looking around.
He just like looks at the little window. And
Yeah, and there's a fucking
a little worm man.
there's a caterpillar
worm
worm thing
I
that
found who he is. If you're curious.
I am. He's shown briefly earlier in the movie when I think it's the first scene.
Yeah, when
The
they're
very first
with
scene
the wizard
when young
and
Mark Strong's young
Sad
first
visits
Shazam. There's the caterpillar in the case, and it's just looking all sorts of weird magical. It's like the first thing he sees basically when
Yeah.
he goes down there or when he gets transported there.
So his name is Mr. Mind, and he runs a group called the Monster Society of Evil.
No.
Yes. He's a cartoonish worm possessing an intelligence beyond that of human beings. This Mr. Mind possessed limited telepathy and the ability to spin nearly indestructible silk at speeds faster than the human eye could follow. Spoke through the use of a talk box which hung around his neck, which he had in the post-credit
Yeah,
scene,
yeah.
and was depicted as being myopic and needing eyeglasses. The current version of Mr. Mind, introduced by Jerry Ordway in his Power of Shazam series, is a worm from the planet Venus, possessing powers which include mind control, telepathy, and mental image projection. This Mind is the only survivor of a race of mind-controlling Venusian worms, and irregularly appears in DC Universe stories, attempting to find hosts and or clone himself. Wait, hold on, I see Savannah in here. Uniting with megalomaniac Dr. Savannah, Mr. Mind, as Savannah named him, planned a full-blown worm invasion using the wealthy Sinclair Batson as his primary host. I'm assuming related to Billy. I'm assuming this is just like a fun post-credit thing. I don't think they're gonna do... Unless this worm is gonna be the main villain of Shazam 2. If he is like the secret in command group of like a group of supervillains that the Shazam family faces, I think that'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, that would.
And that would kind of
funny.
actually fit in this franchise pretty well. I wouldn't be mad, but
Yeah,
like I don't
well,
think they're gonna.
So
but
Mr.
they
Mind.
might. Yeah,
There's
we got Mr. Mind before like Reverse Flash in the DC universe.
How does that feel?
Think that through.
Chew on that.
And the other post-credit scene. Let's do that.
Oh. So the end credit scene is it's a close up on his face or something, right? And
He's looking at a goldfish.
Oh yeah,
they're testing like telepathic
yeah,
fish powers.
yeah, communication with sea life.
And
with fish.
Billy's just kind of like, when would I ever need this? This is dumb. And
Yeah.
then like. And Freddy like pointed to his Aquaman shirt, and he's like, "Dude, you could command millions." And he's just like, "Oh, that sounds kind of dumb."
And he's like, "Oh, right, yeah." And then he's like, "It's still not that cool,"
yeah.
or something like
yeah.
that.
You know, as someone who wasn't a fan of the Aquaman movie, I very much appreciated the little kind of dig at Aquaman. But yeah, I very much liked it. I would love now to see Shazam interact with Jason Momoa's Aquaman and be like, your powers aren't that cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite part? Like, I originally when I was coming up with these, I originally was gonna be like, what was your favorite scene? But it's so hard to narrow it down because like which I've never had a problem with DC movies before. It's like I always have like a scene where I'm like,
it's like that was cool.
Like,
yeah,
I love
like that was the good.
Like like with Wonder Woman, it's like the No Man's Land scene, like where she walks out and it's like the first time she's like seen as Wonder Woman, and I'm like, fuck, that's a great scene.
Right.
But like with Shazam, there's so many great scenes.
There's a lot of really good scenes.
Very good character moments. I say if I had to split it into two. If I had to narrow it down to two, it would probably be either the scene with his mom, like
in the hallway.
Yeah, like with the scene with the mom in the hallway, where like right after then he becomes Shazam and flies away. Like that whole sequence is like a perfect scene.
Yeah.
So that might be it actually, but like the other one I was gonna say is the final battle. Like
the final battle is
so
really
fucking good.
Cool.
Like seeing them act as a family and work together after it's earned and deserved, and like. After Billy's character development, like if this had happened any earlier in the movie, it would have felt weird because like Billy would have been like a dick, and like, it would have been it would have been lame. But like the fact that they waited until they did was very well done. But the mom scene probably holds like a little bit higher place in my heart.
Yeah.
Was it when Superman came to the cafeteria?
That was pretty cool. No, I guess I think I might have to agree with you. I'm trying to think like when they're testing out his powers and stuff like.
Obviously very
that was
cool.
pretty
like
cool.
The montage and...
Yeah, but I also had seen a lot of that from the trailer, so it wasn't as like fresh. The scene at the end. The scene when during the final battle. So like the Shazamily is fighting the 7 deadly sins, and then Shazam is fighting Savannah, and they're doing kind of like a Zod Superman flying through the city.
Yeah, dude.
Which is very intentional and hilarious. I appreciate that. And then they're like flying, and they're like, however
like a mile away.
Yeah, a mile.
From each
He
other.
says like a mile away, and they're like way high up in the air. And Savannah starts like giving an evil speech, and then it shows it from Shazam's perspective, and he's like super faint, like you can barely hear him, and he's like. What? and like it goes on for like the appropriate amount of time. Like it was a great example of the humor of the film.
Do you want to talk about your favorite line in the movie?
Oh my god. I was complaining about how like there's specifically Freddy. I mean there's these two bullies that over the course of the movie get their comeuppance. They're just like total d-bags. Like I just wonder when I see characters like that in a movie, like they clearly look like they're way older than like almost all the other kids there.
I think they're just supposed to look intimidating.
Yeah, and I mean what like
or like maybe they're
just seniors and they're super seniors or something, and it's just like nobody in real life is this like.
That's shitty.
Yeah,
blatantly shitty.
Yeah, blatantly shitty. Like some people are real shitty, but I don't know. It was just funny. But so at the end carnival, like big showdown scene, they're on top of the Ferris wheel, and it shows them, and they're like going over, and the one kid spits over the side, and. And he goes, "Oh, dude, I just spit on a baby." And like, I was like, okay, like I appreciate that they're being like overtly, like it's cartoonish how shitty these people are. Yeah, like,
I think it fits the tone of the movie perfectly.
I honestly, I was a big fan of the when he goes into the boardroom and confronts his dad and his brother. Like,
that
was super. I was like,
that was a very good
my
villain.
god,
That was a very
like,
good villain intro.
Very good villain intro. I was like, okay, this dude means business. Like, this is like. Holy shit. I don't know, it's hard for me to pick one also. That was so good.
So good. Did it feel like a DCEU film? Not necessarily, but in the best way possible.
Yeah.
The DCEU, the perspective of Zack Snyder, whether you like him or you don't, like, whether you like his style or you don't, like, it was a very specific style, and it was supposed to only be, like, for a couple movies. He had, like, this arc that he wanted to tell. Warner Brothers wanted to do an expanded universe, so that got thrown out the window, which just made it tonally messy and whatever. Yeah. So, like, they have a lot of, like, this context and like with the extended universe that they have to kind of deal with in this movie.
Yeah.
In terms of like, what do you do with the tone? What do you do with the characters? Like, how do you tell this story without it feeling convoluted?
Yeah.
How do you tell this story in a world where like Superman has died and come back to life, and there has been like alien invasions and all this other stuff, and it's like they don't worry about it because it's just a kid. It's a kid in Philadelphia. Like it's not someone who is in Metropolis or Gotham. It's very much like in the DCEU universe.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily like about it. It's not like it doesn't copy the tone. It's definitely like a singular thing that takes the best parts of like a DC superhero movie and puts it in there without any of the extra like convoluted extended universe garbage.
For sure.
So
yeah,
that's how I felt about it.
Yeah, no, I being somebody who is more of an MCU fan, but I appreciate and respect the DCEU fandom and the most of the films that have come out. Obviously I'm still not having seen Aquaman though. It felt to me like a DCEU film, but again in the best ways, like in none of the ways that are like, ugh. I am a big fan of a lot of the DC comic characters, but the way that they've like BVS for me as a casual but like I saw the animated, and you lent me the Dark Knight Rises comic where he fights
Dark Knight Returns
comic where he fights like that, what that is loosely kind of based off of. So like I have an appreciation for some of the source material, and it was just like such a letdown. Like it was, and
well, that movie also went through the fucking ringer.
Yeah, for sure,
And
this isn't. This isn't roast BVS.
I'm not saying it's not warranted.
But so that being said, like it took all of the best parts, I think, and put them on full display, and then also kind of took a new breath with it too. Like it felt like a fresh step forward, and I kind of alluded to it earlier on a film that I think this film borrowed from a bit in terms of its tone, and I think it's great. And I know you're not the biggest fan of it, but I think Homecoming. I think especially those end credits.
I do like it,
and the vibe.
Before you go any further, I do want to say I do like Homecoming.
Yeah, I know.
Please don't fuel the fire of the people that are mad at me for making that video.
Okay.
I do like the movie. I appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah,
it's just not what I wanted it to be, which is why I made that video about it.
Okay.
So I do like it though.
Alright, okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to throw you under the Spidey bus. So I think like the tone of it overall, and when you were saying how it feels like it's a movie that's in the DCEU and makes references to things, but it's not it also doesn't have to care about them that much because it's a kid.
Yeah.
Homecoming, I think, had the same advantage.
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's not. I mean, it's set in the MCU, and like the god of the MCU, Tony Stark, comes and is a decently prominent part of the film, and obviously it's got Happy and everything too. But like that also kind of was its own thing, and kind of was able to stand on its own and exist within this world that had all these other events that had gone on, without having to worry about them too centrally. You know what I mean? One of the first actually thoughts that I had that was like, yeah, this is a DC film when Shazam is the wizard is talking to Mark Strong, and he like all the hologram, like orange hologram montages explaining ancient stuff. I was like, yeah, this looks exactly like all of
very like
Kryptonian
Man of Steel, and then in the paintings of Wonder Woman. I got you.
I was just like, okay, so this is how all the
holographic context. Yeah, that's what DC is going to be known for, is holographic context.
Yeah, no, but it was good. I enjoyed that. It felt like it was in that world, but didn't have to. It didn't owe anything.
It wasn't hung up by it. Yeah. How does it rank in terms of the other DC films?
Is this the last one? I feel like, even not having seen Aquaman, I feel like I probably definitely would like this movie better than Aquaman. Honestly, I think it's my number one now. I think it's my absolute number one DCEU, because...
Solid.
Again, when Man of Steel came out, loved that movie.
Yeah.
Really entertained by that movie when it came out.
Yeah, especially for what it is. Like, it's...
Yeah, but then like when they tried to kind of... It always feels like Henry Cavill is like, I don't know, he's just too sad. He's too sad
they
for
don't
Superman.
let him play.
Yeah, exactly. Upsetting. Yeah. But Man of Steel... I think it's still pretty up there for me on its own.
Yeah. Agreed.
BVS pretty low for me. Justice League, I think, might be higher than BVS just because it's, you know, your first look at Cyborg, who I really enjoyed Cyborg and The Flash. Aquaman, not as much, but all three of those, like, additions, character, you know, the other three members of the League that we hadn't seen previously, like, I enjoyed that. For quick intros, like, that was, yeah.
Wonder Woman.
And then Wonder Woman, so I would say for me, it's Shazam. Man of Steel and Wonder Woman are kind of tied for me.
Okay.
Again, didn't see Aquaman, but then for what I have seen, it would be, I'm kind of forgetting about Suicide Squad.
No, you're not. I know where it's going on the list.
Oh, okay. Very bottom. But I still think I might have enjoyed that
more than Justice League?
More than BVS.
Whoa! Is BVS lower than Justice League for you?
I think so.
Whoa, that's trippy. Justice League is not a well-made film.
I think it was BVS.
Lay it on the list, boy.
BVS, Suicide Squad, Justice League.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Controversial.
Wonder Woman's Man of Steel, Shazam.
Dope. This is gonna make people mad, James. I don't want to make the people mad, but it's gonna make the people mad.
Make them mad.
Definitely Shazam. Then I kind of agree, like Wonder Woman, Man of Steel. They do very different things for me in terms of like how good they are. I think that they are on an equal playing field, but they're like
also so different. Yeah.
Then actually for me, the next movie would be BVS. I think that just kind of, I mean, the other ones are Justice League, Suicide Squad, and Aquaman. So like, it's not a high bar.
Yeah.
Probably in the order of Justice League, then Aquaman, then Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I think I'm.
It's fine, dude. If you're honest with your list, stick with your list.
I think I am honest with my list,
but I rewatched Suicide Squad recently, and it was like borderline unwatchable.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't, in good solace, call this a film. But B.E.T. Shut up! Oh my God, fucking Killer Croc! Why are you that in that movie?
It was so heavy-handed. It was so ham-fisted.
Yeah, it's absolutely. The point is that Shazam ranks highest.
Yeah, Shazam is the best.
I think honestly, like, I was the most satisfied with Shazam than I have been out of any DC movie that we've gotten so far. I would have loved for this to be the first movie in the franchise of the DCEU, honestly. It's such a good way to introduce other characters, is by like Freddy. Like, this character who's like a huge fan of superheroes. Like, if this had been the first like foray into the DCEU, and like you heard Freddy talking about like Superman and Batman and Aquaman, just be like, oh my God, these heroes are out there, like they exist,
all
oh my
exist,
God. Kind of knowing that they're established, you lose a little bit of that magic in there. But all in all though, like the fact that this movie exists and the fact that it works as well as it does, I think is a testament to the screenwriters, the director, the producer, the cast, the crew, everyone on board of this movie knew what it was going to be, set out to make this exact movie. It's all intentional, it's well done, and it's just, they trusted the filmmakers, and that's why I love it.
Yeah, very concise. Thank you. Couldn't agree more with any of that. It's unanimously agreeable success for the DCEU. Again, like you were saying, walking out of the theater, I'm a huge comic book fan, and again with Man of Steel, I was like, wow. Once I found out that they were making more in that with him as Superman, I was like, yeah, I'm here for it. That's super cool. But yeah, walking out, like, this is the first film where I can honestly say, like, thoroughly entertained, thoroughly satisfied with, my experience. And every other film, I walked out feeling like a little conflicted in some way. You know?
I think when I said this when we were walking out of the theater, and I think this is probably going to be a good point to like, a good thing to end on. But like, Spider-Man made people try to climb up walls. Christopher Reeve's Superman made kids try to fly. And this movie's gonna have kids shouting Shazam
for sure.
It's inspiring, especially for kids.
This film's gonna have people shouting Billy.
Yeah. Billy.
No, not that name.
Not that name.
I like that he says the name that I say to turn to this dude. Because if he said it again, So
oh God, they did a lot of jokes with that, and I very much appreciated it. And like how they couldn't say Captain Marvel, so they called him Captain Sparkle Fingers.
I
very much appreciated that too.
Yeah, I hope everyone got something out of this review.
Yeah, absolutely. Go see Shazam.
Yeah, do it. Patronize Warner Brothers.
Patronize? I mean, like, be a patron of
Warner
Brothers? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Patronize Warner Brothers. Oh, nice little movie.
Nice movie
you made there, Warner
Real
Brothers.
cute.
All right, but yeah, thank you so much for watching.
I know words, it's fine.
Go see Shazam if you haven't. If you did, let us know what you thought of it in the comments down below, or if you just watched this very spoiler review and you haven't seen Shazam, let us know if you're excited for it in the comments down below too, because highly recommend it all around. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already.
Hit the bell icon for get all the updates.
Oh yeah, dude, it's sick, man.
So,
Plug, yeah.
bell,
Hit the bell for to get notifications every time I post a new video.
Squat up in the comments.
Squat up in the comments, fam, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.